It was supposed to be a routine hearing, a Tuesday morning, July 9th, 2013. Holly Latham, 28 years old, mother of one, walked into the Redding County Courthouse. She had been here before, but today felt different. The air was thick with anticipation, and the usual courthouse chatter seemed unusually hushed. But what she saw inside stopped her in her tracks. She gasped, and for a moment everything went silent. The room seemed to hold its breath, as if time itself had paused. Witnesses later described the scene as surreal. Holly's face turned pale, her eyes wide with shock. She clutched her chest, trying to steady her breathing. The courtroom, usually a place of order and decorum, was now a stage for the unexpected. Police transcripts revealed unsettling evidence. Documents that were supposed to be sealed had somehow been leaked. The names, dates, and details were all there, painting a picture that no one was prepared to see. The courtroom was on edge. Lawyers exchanged nervous glances, the judge's gavel trembled slightly in his hand, and the jury shifted uncomfortably in their seats. The tension was palpable, a thick fog of uncertainty that enveloped everyone present. The case took a turn no one expected, leaving everyone with more questions than answers. What was supposed to be a straightforward hearing had now become a labyrinth of intrigue and mystery. As Holly stood there, trying to make sense of what she had just witnessed, she knew that this day would change everything. The revelations in that courtroom would ripple through the community, affecting lives in ways no one could have foreseen. And as the gavel finally came down, the echoes of that moment would linger long after the courtroom had emptied. The man sitting at the defendant's table was her brother, Ethan Latham, missing for 3 years, presumed dead, and now on trial for murder. The story began in the summer of 2010. It was a season filled with warmth and adventure, where the days were long and the nights were filled with the sounds of nature. Northern California, with its sprawling forests and picturesque hiking trails, was a haven for outdoor enthusiasts. Among them was a young man named Mark, who set out on what was supposed to be a routine hiking trip. Holly, his sister, reported her brother missing after he vanished during that hiking trip. She was frantic, her voice trembling as she filed the report. The authorities quickly mobilized, understanding the urgency of the situation. The dense forests of Northern California were vast and unforgiving, and every second counted. The search lasted 6 weeks. Volunteers from nearby towns joined the search and rescue teams, combing through the thick underbrush and calling out Mark's name. Helicopters scanned the area from above, while dogs sniffed the ground below. The community was united in their efforts, but hope began to wane as the days turned into weeks. The only thing they found, his torn backpack, tangled in brush, by the side of a ravine. It was a chilling discovery, raising more questions than answers. How did it get there? What had happened to Mark? The ravine was steep and treacherous, making it difficult to search further. Inside, his ID, a cracked phone, and a Polaroid. The items were carefully examined, but they offered no clues. The phone was too damaged to retrieve any data, and the ID only confirmed what they already knew. But the Polaroid was different. It was a haunting image that would stay with them forever. Of a woman, bound, gagged. Terrified, she was never identified. The photograph was old and worn, suggesting it had been taken long before Mark's disappearance. Who was she? And how did her picture end up in Mark's backpack? These questions lingered, casting a dark shadow over the case. The mystery of Mark's disappearance remained unsolved, leaving his family and the community in a state of perpetual uncertainty. Detectives called it evidence of foul play. The Latham family grieved, but Holly never gave up hope. Holly Latham, VO. I always felt he was alive, somewhere, but I never imagined this. In 2013, a man was arrested in Arizona using the name Daniel Reese. He had no prior record, no family ties, but fingerprints told a different story. It was Ethan. He'd been living under a new identity, working as a contractor, and according to investigators, he wasn't alone. In a locked storage unit registered to Daniel Reese, detectives discovered 8 sealed containers. Inside, bones. Human. Most of them fragmented, charred, and wrapped in plastic. The media called him the ghost builder. The FBI called it an emerging serial pattern. Holly Latham, that's not the brother I knew. He was scared of spiders, for God's sake. Then came the twist. DNA results revealed something no one expected. The forensic team had been working tirelessly, piecing together fragments of evidence, but this revelation was beyond anyone's wildest imagination. The results were conclusive and left no room for doubt. One of the victims, confirmed to be Claudia Reyes, a missing woman from 2009. Her disappearance had baffled investigators for over a decade. She was a beloved community member, and her case had gone cold, leaving her family in despair. But she was last seen 3 months before Ethan's hiking trip, in a state he'd never visited. This raised more questions than answers. How could their paths have crossed? The timeline didn't add up, and the geographical distance made it even more perplexing. According to flight logs, GPS data, and bank statements, he had an alibi. He couldn't have been there. The records were meticulously checked, and everything pointed to Ethan being miles away at the time of Claudia's last known sighting. But her necklace was found in his storage unit, with his fingerprints on it. This piece of evidence was undeniable. It was a cherished item, recognized by her family, and its presence in Ethan's possession was a mystery that demanded answers. How did it get there? The investigation took a new turn, delving deeper into connections that were previously overlooked. The courtroom gasped as the evidence was laid out. A chilling timeline, a killer without a clear pattern, victims from 3 states, dates that didn't align, but all linked to Ethan or someone pretending to be him. Police transcripts reveal a bizarre conversation. Detective Mallory, VO. Do you know these women, Ethan? Ethan Latham, VO. No, but I've seen her in my dreams. And then she disappears. He claimed he was being set up by someone he called the Architect, a name that appeared, oddly enough, on one of the storage unit rental forms, written in shaky block letters. When asked who the Architect was, Ethan only said he wore my face. Witnesses from Arizona reported seeing 2 men who looked identical, one friendly, one cold, unblinking, gone before anyone could get a license plate. And then came the final blow. Security footage, grainy, taken from a gas station in Utah, time-stamped 3 months after Ethan was already in custody. A man identical to him, buying duct tape and rope. The case was paused, pending further investigation, and to this day, Ethan Latham sits in a state hospital, not convicted, not exonerated, just waiting. As for Holly, she never came back to court. When I looked in his eyes, I didn't see my brother anymore. I saw someone else. I saw fear. Was Ethan a killer, a pawn, a twin, or something else entirely? No one knows, but one thing is certain. The moment she walked into that courtroom, her world changed forever. The case remains open. The truth is still missing. Vanished whispers, true crime. Subscribe for more stories that demand answers. Gap 2S. To truly understand the gravity of the courtroom revelation, we must delve deeper into the details that were presented. Gap 1S. Expert legal analyst Dr. Sarah Thompson explains the significance of the new evidence. The introduction of the defendant's fingerprints on the weapon was a game changer. It shifted the entire narrative of the trial, placing the defendant at the scene of the crime unequivocally. GAP 1S. Additionally, forensic specialist Mark Davis provided insights into the peculiar blood spatter patterns found at the crime scene. The blood spatter analysis suggested a struggle, which aligns with the defense's claim of self-defense. However, the angle and distribution of the spatter also indicated a premeditated attack. GAP 1S. The prosecution also presented a series of text messages between the defendant and the victim, shedding light on their tumultuous relationship. The messages revealed a history of threats and confrontations, adding a layer of motive to the crime, noted criminal psychologist Dr. Emily Carter, GAP 1S. Furthermore, a previously undisclosed surveillance footage from a nearby store showed the defendant purchasing what appeared to be the murder weapon just days before the incident. This evidence was crucial in establishing premeditation, stated Detective John Harris, the lead investigator on the case. GAP 1S. With these expert opinions and additional evidence, the courtroom revelation becomes not just a turning point in the trial, but a complex puzzle that demands thorough analysis and understanding. GAP 2S. Stay tuned for more in-depth coverage and analysis on Vanished Whispers. True Crime. Subscribe for more stories that demand answers. GAP 2S. The courtroom revelation sent shockwaves through both the legal community and the general public. GAP 1S, renowned legal expert Professor James Monroe, weighed in on the implications of the new evidence. This revelation has not only altered the trajectory of the trial, but has also raised questions about the integrity of the initial investigation. It's a reminder that in the pursuit of justice, no stone should be left unturned. GAP 1S public reaction was swift and divided. GAP 1S. Many took to social media to express their thoughts. GAP 1S. One user tweeted, "This changes everything. How did they miss this evidence before?" While another wrote, "I still believe in the defendant's innocence. This feels like a setup." GAP 1S. Outside the courthouse, protesters and supporters of the defendant clashed, each side adamant in their beliefs. GAP 1S, local journalist Anna Martinez reported live from the scene. The atmosphere here is tense. People are demanding answers and accountability. This case has become a focal point for discussions on justice and due process. GAP 1S. Meanwhile, the victim's family issued a statement through their attorney expressing their relief that the truth was finally emerging. "We have been waiting for justice for so long. This new evidence gives us hope that the truth will prevail." GAP 1S. As the trial continues, the courtroom revelation remains a pivotal moment, igniting debates and emotions across the nation. GAP 2S. Join us next time on Vanished Whispers, True Crime, as we continue to unravel the intricacies of this case. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more compelling stories.